Have you ever wondered why it is so incredibly hard to change your life? You watch a motivational video, get a sudden burst of inspiration, and promise yourself that starting tomorrow, everything will be different. You plan to work out for an hour, read a book a week, and completely overhaul your habits. You feel completely unstoppable. But when tomorrow arrives, you are tired from a long day, the couch looks comfortable, and that motivation has vanished. You tell yourself, I'll just start next week. But next week comes and goes, and absolutely nothing changes. If this sounds familiar, you aren't lazy, and there is nothing wrong with you. The truth is, you have been falling for the great motivation lie. We are told by society that to achieve massive goals, we need massive motivation and ironclad willpower. But in his groundbreaking book, Mini Habits, Smaller Habits, Bigger Results, author Stephen Guise exposes why this traditional advice is a complete trap. This video will completely change how you view personal growth by breaking down a system that requires just 1% of your effort. To understand why mini habits work, we must look at the battlefield inside your mind. Your brain is essentially controlled by two competing forces, the prefrontal cortex and the basal ganglia. The prefrontal cortex is the conscious, evolved part of your brain. It handles logic, long-term planning, and decision-making. When you decide to learn a new skill or build a business, this is the engine driving that desire. However, it has a major flaw. It tires out incredibly quickly and shuts down when you are stressed. On the other side of your brain is the basal ganglia. This is the ancient, primitive part of your mind, responsible for patterns and efficiency. It doesn't plan for the future. Its only job is to save energy by repeating behaviors you have already done hundreds of times before. This is where your current habits, both good and bad, are stored. When you try to force yourself into a massive new routine, your prefrontal cortex has to fight a brutal war against the stubborn basal ganglia, and your mental fuel tank eventually runs dry. To win this war, you cannot use brute force. You have to use strategy, and that strategy is the mini habit. Stephen Guise defines a mini habit as a very small version of a positive behavior that you force yourself to do every single day. The core rule is simple. The habit must be so incredibly small, so laughably easy, that it is literally impossible for you to fail. It must require zero motivation and virtually no willpower to complete. It completely bypasses your brain's natural resistance. Let us look at some concrete examples of how to shrink your goals. Instead of setting a goal to read for 30 minutes a day, your mini habit is to read just one single page. Instead of forcing yourself to write 1,000 words a day for your journal or project, your mini habit is to write just one single sentence. Instead of aiming for a daunting daily meditation session, your mini habit is to sit quietly and breathe mindfully for just 1 minute. Starting a task requires a massive amount of initial mental friction, but micro steps eliminate it. When you adopt a strategy this small, you unlock incredible psychological advantages. First, mini habits give you instant momentum. Think of your habits like a heavy car stuck on a hill. Trying to push that car to the top all at once feels impossible. But if you can just get the wheels to turn an inch, the hardest part is over. Once you actually open a book and read that one required page, your brain realizes the task isn't painful, and you will keep going simply because you already broke the resistance.